I feel like giving up. Today is a bad day for me. I feel like I'm in a hole with this. I feel like whatever I try, however creative I try to be, I just can't get that kick of momentum that I'm hoping for so that I'm not relying on always trying to solve problems as opposed to having the luxury of building upon great foundations, which I know there are great foundations. I know I've worked hard for many years on this now, and there's a movement here, and there's a community here, and it's strong. I know that. It's just today I'm just feeling like I've got my head in my hands, and I'm wondering what it is that I need to do to spark some growth that's exponential. And I know what's kicked this all off. It's Monday today. It's Monday the 24th of June. And last week I kicked off the ticketed events. And that felt great. I got 2 spaces in London that were brilliantly donated to me. It's for the cause so that I could put on these events, and they're great spaces, and I spent a lot of time launching the tickets on Eventbrite. And then last week I messaged lots of schools that I'd spoken to in that particular area, and I gave a discount code, a 20% discount code for all their teachers and staff. And one of the head teachers from the grammar school that I spoke at about 2 months ago, who's a big supporter of my work, by the way, she was like, "This is amazing. You're now giving an opportunity for people to buy tickets off their own back. They haven't got to wait until their particular organisation brings you in." And she sent out this email to all of the schools that she's connected with, all the head teachers she's connected with. And in the copy list on the email were 300 emails. Schools, teachers, all staff, trusts, which means like academies that are in charge of various schools in local areas all around that London area. And I just couldn't believe it. I was buzzing when I saw this email. And then I signed off for the weekend, and during the weekend, I was having such a good time. I was camping with some mates, and it was a real nice switch off from work, and we were just chatting about life. And now and again, I'd be thinking about my work and thinking, those 300 emails went out. I wonder, wouldn't it be great if there was a flurry of tickets sold? Both events, one's in South London, one's in North London, and there's 90 tickets available. I thought, you know what? Wow. If 10 tickets are sold off the back of that over the weekend, that's going to be so good. And then when I woke up this morning, Monday morning, pretty tired actually because we didn't get much sleep over the weekend, I thought, you know what, actually, if 5 tickets were sold over the weekend through that flurry of 300 emails sent by a head teacher who has said that I have been to her school to speak and I am good to go, it's a thumbs up, then that's going to be great. So I open up my Eventbrite profile, and I open up my emails, and I have a good look, and the tickets that are sold are 0. None. And I'm recording this at the end of Monday and still no tickets. And I don't know, I know the emails were sent last Wednesday. I know it's only been a few days. I know you got to keep plugging. I know nothing's going to work instantly. I know I'm dealing with the biggest taboo in our society. I know all those things. I know keep going, but it's just like it's so difficult when you launch something brand new and nothing's really coming of it. It's not the first time that this has happened. I know that this has happened to me so many times. And look, I'm not recording this This podcast is not so that everybody can feel sorry for me. We're so sorry, Jeremy. Keep going. You're inspiring. I'm not fishing for that, right? This is not me trying to get everybody feeling sorry for me because I'm working so hard behind the scenes and nothing's working and you got to keep going. That's honestly, that is not the reason for me speaking about this. What is the reason for me making this podcast? Because if you are a follower of this podcast, you would have realised that I'm not really releasing many episodes anymore because I cannot continue with releasing an episode every 2 weeks, whether that be interviewing someone or whether that be reacting to a piece of content that I've found to give my opinions on it, because this live events... marketing this live event and creating this live event has taken all my time. Something had to go. Because otherwise I just keep adding things to my list of things to do and then I can't sleep because I'm waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm turning over, and because it's light here in England at that time of the morning, it's just waking me up a little, and I'm thinking, I'm just going to get up now because I could do that thing and I could do that thing and I could do that thing. And I'm like, just don't be so stupid. Turn over and go back to sleep. Wait until your alarm. And then my mind's buzzing and I'm like, I'll just get up. And then I'm up at 4 a.m. with very little sleep. Like, none of this is good for me. The purpose of it drives me, but I need to keep a balance on myself. I need to get hold of myself that I don't get carried away. Because if I don't look after the way I'm operating, then there's no longevity in this. So why am I making this podcast? Back to that point. I just wanted to use the opportunity just to talk to you about it all, just to communicate with you about it all. That actually I'm not feeling too good about the way things are going, and I sometimes think, why did I embark on this? What led me to embark on doing this? Because at no point did I ever think it would be easy. But also, to add to that, at no point did I ever think that it would be this difficult. My first school booking was 18 months ago, where I spoke to students and then I spoke to teachers at a school called Kingswood House School in Surrey. And when I got that booking and I performed, I spoke, and the feedback was like outstanding from the teachers and students. I thought, this is it. It's going to kick off now. I got a few pictures, started posting them. Then maybe a month later, another school booked me. And last year the bookings were really good, actually. Not loads, but not like this year. This year's worse. And I know budgets are tighter for schools. I've heard that. But I got a lot of conference bookings last year too, and my audience has grown this year, and it's just not coming in. It's just not. The platforms and my work is evolving. I know it's improving in quality. I know that too. But bookings are so important because getting in front of live audiences is important. Young people and adults, whether that be social workers at councils, whether that be foster carers at foster care agencies, whoever it be. And also, bookings is my income. I've managed to create Something to Say, which is now running itself through the Patreon and the clothing and the donations. I send all the donations over to Something to Say. All the donations that come in through jeremyindica.com, which were meant to fund Jeremy Indica's side, I send to Something to Say to keep that alive, and that's done. That's an achievement, I know. But bookings is where I make my income, and when I'm in the red at the end of the month, I'm like, I'm in the red again. And I got good compensation from last year, from the CICA compensation that I was awarded. It was a celebration when I got that. But I can't, this is not sustainable like this. And I gather testimonials after after I speak, and honestly, like, people are like, oh my goodness, I was gripped throughout that. I have never heard it talked about like that before. But I still can't. It's still not clicking. It's still not clicking. And I will forever keep trying. I start this by saying I feel like I want to give up. And you know what? Sometimes I do feel like I want to give up. Sometimes I do feel like that. Sometimes I feel like, what? Why have I brought this thing to my life where I've sacrificed a simple and straightforward life, which was good and healthy and challenging and aspiring, and a career in engineering which was helping me see the world and paying me well, and it was secure, and I got my wages every month, or if I was doing self-employed contracts, they were paying me per hour. And then I embarked on this. And it's more important than anything else I've ever done. You know, for me to make change for the children of today and the young teenagers who are growing up today, and influence them and the people around them so that they're better protected and they have tools and knowledge that I didn't have when I was being sexually abused at 8 years old, is a phenomenal aim and mission, and it's going to work. This is the crazy thing about it. The crazy thing about it is this is definitely going to work. If you have been following me for some time, I'm pretty sure you agree with me too. There's like no doubt that this is going to work. I've talked about shows on Netflix. I've talked about films in cinema. I've talked about theatre productions that we go on tour with. I've talked about all of those things from the very start of this. I've been doing this for 5.5 years now. From the very start, I talked about things like that. From my opening posts, even when I was doing the open micing and I was talking about where I want to take this, I talked about Netflix. I talked about theatre production. I talked about millions of people following content that they wouldn't usually follow because we made it interesting and creative. We all know and we all agree that will be achieved. That is coming. It's just the time from now until then. And I'm not thinking that that's going to be done in a year. I'm not thinking that's going to be done in 1 decade. As I mentioned, I've been doing this for 5.5 years. When you think about things like my first posts on Instagram, how I used to write them, I write things completely differently now. You think about how many different things there are to be involved in: the podcast, the YouTube channel, the Instagram account, the something to say work, like the work in schools, the conferences that I speak at, the ticketed sales now. There's like all of these things. It's like this massive, brilliant structure that I've worked hard to create. But I just can't seem to get that leap. I recently launched a GoFundMe. I don't know whether you saw that or not. And that was for schools, which there are many of them. That is for schools that don't have budget to bring speakers in. They haven't got that luxury. And I was starting to receive emails from them saying that we would love to bring you in to speak with our students or our staff, and we just haven't got the money, or we've already spent our budget this year, or maybe we could look at maybe next year because when money's a bit better. And I was thinking, this is crazy. Like, money shouldn't be the stopper of this message that I have based on a lived experience. That's something that training courses don't bring to the table. And so I thought, you know what? Let's just set up a GoFundMe and let's see who wants to contribute to that GoFundMe, which will collect a pot of money, which means that I can go to these schools and say, look, we got a pot of money. I'll just come and speak, right? No cost to you. And I just thought that would be incredible. Like, there'd be a buzz with that. people can get involved. Lots of people always ask me how they can help. And this is something that they can donate directly to, because not everybody wants to donate on jeremyindica.com, because I understand this, by the way. You don't know exactly where that money's going. And I don't mean that money's going anywhere in a corrupt way. Not at all. You know me now, right? That money could be going to something to say, that money could be going to website change. That could be money could be going to video creation, and you would like to be more in control of your donation than that, so that's not for everybody. So this GoFundMe means you can actually put money towards me getting into a school for free. So I launched that GoFundMe, and I launched it, and I said, can I ask everybody? We want to collect £200 for me to visit this primary school of 60. This primary school, not of 60 teachers. It ended up being 60 teachers because that primary school invited the school in the next school along in the town to come too. Amazing! Come on, more the merrier. Bring them in. So I launched that GoFundMe. I put out one post on all of my social media accounts. I wake up the next morning, there's £240 in there. Boom. Target reached instantly. And you've got to think about this, right? For people to actually donate their money, right? Their hard-earned money. And by the way, anybody that's listening or watching this on YouTube, if you have seen these donation posts and you would love to donate, but you're not in a position financially to do so, please, that doesn't mean you're not part of the team, right? That honestly doesn't mean that you're not part of the team. Keep engaging with the posts, keep following the work. You know, we are all in this together. And people are actually putting their money to the GoFundMe and saying, go for it, Jeremy. Go for it. And I'm not an official charity, and I don't want to become an official charity. I think that's not the correct direction for my work. And if you've heard me talk about that, you know the reasons why. I want to avoid that at all costs. But people donated within less than 24 hours, the money was in. I go and speak at this primary school, right? 60 teachers. It goes so well. And then I put some posts out about it, saying to schools, because more people started donating to the GoFundMe. And I was like, I've got another free school visit. I'm ready. Who wants it? I put some posts out, and you got to think I've got counting maybe 120, 130,000 people following me online. Of course, not everybody sees every post, but enough people see a post of mine when I put it out there. And I put a few out there saying, you know, we've got money now. Who wants it? What school wants it? Nothing. I go and speak at a conference. I spoke in one at the centre of London 2 months ago. 60 head teachers. 60 teachers, designated safeguarding leads, who call the shots at their school. I literally give the best talk of my life. People are coming up afterwards saying, that's absolutely amazing. I've been in safeguarding for 15 years and I've never heard it talked about like that before. That was so incredible. That was such a level up from our usual safeguarding training. And how do I book you? And how do I get in contact with you? And I'll be in touch for sure. And watch out for an email from me, because I want you to come to our school, and all of that. I get home and I've got like 5 inquiries in my email box. So I write back to them all with more details. And you know what? I've even started putting the costs of bringing me in at the end of the email, because you have to do that, because that's one of the biggest decision makers for that person who's booking me. And I even put after the costs, look, I know everybody's got budgets. So if you cannot reach these numbers, let's still talk, because we don't want money to be the stopper of this. So then I wait a couple of weeks, no reply. I have a little spreadsheet where I keep a record of everybody that's contacted me, and I, after 1 month, I reconnect with them just to ask, you know, like, I know you showed interest. If there's anything that's missing, let me know. If you want to jump on a Zoom call, let me know. Let's get this organised. And then still nothing. And I know we're at the end of the academic year. I know teachers are busy with exams. I know that maybe they'll be looking for next year. But this isn't a new thing. As I mentioned, my first booking for a school was 18 months ago. And even with me offering free visits, I still can't get no momentum. And then I set up these ticketed events, and the ticketed events thing is funny because I've got to be realistic about this. And I did put a post out about this. Look. This is how we should look at the numbers, right? Let's say I've got 120,000 people following me online. 10% of those people will live around the area local to where these events are being held. So that's 10%. And then 10% of those will actually be free on the night. They'll be able to get childcare, or they'll actually be available, not working late. And then 10% of those would actually want to come to a live event, or would actually want to come and see me speak. So straight away, when you do the math with just those factors, you get down to 120 people from 120,000 people following me online. And that's ignoring many other factors, like all 120,000 people that follow me online are not interested enough in my work to come and see me speak, right? They're not all like avid followers. So we got to be realistic with that, and I accept that. The thing that's really kind of kicked me in the teeth is I just thought if 300 schools were approached with a discount code for their parents and teachers, they'd want to support this. And you know what? I don't know whether I'm being naive here as well. Sometimes I think, okay, well, maybe you're not good enough yet, right? Maybe your content isn't of quality yet. For people to come and pay you a ticket to come and watch you speak, for teachers to book you for their schools, maybe that's a case, and I would really accept that as an answer. And I look back at my history doing this work, and let's take an example of when I launched the donations feature on jeremyindica.com. That was back in maybe 2021, something like that. That year is a bit of a guess for me, but around that time anyway, it was some years ago. I remember launching that donations feature on my jeremyindica.com website, and I was expecting loads of people to donate. And you know, I must have had about 20,000 followers at that point. So considerably smaller than what I am now. But, you know, people were interested in my work. I could really feel that momentum. And I remember for about a week, I didn't even get one donation. And that really hurt me. I was coming to the end of my savings as well at that point from my engineering career. And I felt like I did now with that at that time. And now I look back at it, I think to myself that expecting donations at that point with the way your content was in those moments was probably a little bit naive of me. So then I asked myself, okay, so am I being naive now? Am I being naive with my target of selling 10 tickets for each event? Was that a bit stupid of me to think that that would be achieved? And I don't think it is naive of me because so many people give me incredible feedback. So I sometimes feel like I do today, which is I'm just not getting anywhere with this. I'm just not. How am I going to make this sustainable? So I will continue problem solving it because I will never give up on this. I will just continue, and there's always, you know, I come across a short video from Ed Sheeran actually today. I don't know why it came up on my feed, but that was a nice bit of serendipity, to be honest. And he said about failing, you have to fail 1,000 times to find the correct formula, and I know that concept, and I believe that that's the way things work. You know, when I was in my engineering career, you had to apply for 100 jobs before you got one interview. You had to keep adjusting your CV and rewriting your CV and upskilling yourself until you are of quality as an engineer to get that job you're aiming for. So I know that's the way things work, and maybe I'm just not feeling very good. Maybe I had too bigger expectations from the weekend, and then I come and they haven't landed. I'm going to make some adjustments. I'm going to put my talk online, meaning that I wanted just to keep it for the live environment because I've created it for that. There's lots of interaction and lots of Q&A, which really works in the live environment. I wanted to keep it as that. My aim was to sell 10 tickets for each event in London and then build on that, get some more venues, maybe Birmingham, maybe Scotland, maybe Wales, and then build to 20 people and then 50 people and then 100 people, etc. I wanted to go in that way, and then eventually when I built that event, I could then get a film crew on and we could start releasing cuts of the talk for people online. I know lots of people are overseas that follow and they'd love to see it and not going to get the opportunity to see it. So maybe I need to spend some time making adjustments so that it works in the online space, and then start doing that. And my friends told me that I should do that from the start anyway. I should offer it online. But at the moment, because it's just me at these events, I don't want to have to worry about a connection on a Zoom call with my computer in the corner while I'm trying to attend to the live audience and make sure everything's good with that. I don't know about weeks Wi-Fi signal. I would need somebody monitoring that in a live event if I was to record them. So instead, maybe I didn't want to do that for my first ones. I would have enough to concentrate on as they're my first event. So maybe I just do one solely for online. So I just set it up on Zoom and just record it in this room actually, because I need to solve this next stage of the puzzle. And I'm an engineer and I did 15 years doing that. So I love that. I love those problems, but I don't want those problems. I want that trajectory. I want that burst of growth. I want something to come off with this bookings and this live events and so that I can see this becoming more sustainable as a career, as a job, and I put my heart and soul into this. I'm working this all the time. I have to tell myself sometimes, put the computer away. That's enough now, because I'm trying to work on this. I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to create this. I'm trying to improve that. And I just don't know. Today has just not been a good day for it. And I hope that I get a pick me up. I really do. I hope that somebody's going to come along and give me a burst of energy. Not a burst of energy. Give me something which is going to reassure me that we're okay. Because today I'm not feeling like that so much. I just thought this ticketed thing would boom and it hasn't, and it's so personal to me. That's one of the problems, isn't it? If I was a salesman for cars, I wouldn't care. If I didn't make the sales, but I still got my quota or still got my salary, I wouldn't care. But this is personal to me, and I believe that my message is so unique and so different and something that nobody is talking about, and that's what everybody says to me. Nobody is talking about the areas that you're talking about, and if we're serious about protecting the children and teenagers of today, we need to be having the conversations that you're bringing to the table, Jeremy. But I'm just not getting the opportunity that I want, and I will be very self-critical and look over everything now over the next couple of days and look where the holes are, because it's on me. It's my fault, and I know that's a negative phrase, but everything will come together as I improve the quality and as I manage to kick things into gear. Because things like the algorithms and the platforms, they're never going to work for me. My YouTube channel is dead, even though I've got 28,000 subscribers. My videos are not being shown to anyone on their home feed, and when I put a post out about that a couple of weeks ago, so many people wrote to me saying, I never see your videos on my home feed, even though I am replying to and commenting on all of your community posts, your written posts, but your videos aren't being shown to me. As if the taboo wasn't enough, you know? Just, I'm trying to break down the fear of the topic. But everybody, including social media platforms and people who would potentially book me, are so scared of how this topic will be discussed outside of the norm that everyone's staying away from me. I could post the testimonial that the testimonials are there, the feedback is there, but still, people would rather stick to the formal, straight discussion. Don't go outside of the boundaries, even though I know, because I went through it, that the discussion isn't good enough. The discussion that we have around this isn't good enough. Whether that be in the way the media portray it or how it's being spoken about in schools and organisations is not good enough. And I feel like I can say that confidently now because I've been in this space for a little while. Yeah, it's not good enough. It's ancient the way we talk about it. It's silenced. It's caged. It's the stigma holds the discussion from evolving and advancing and becoming modern for today. We know the dangers that children are facing online. We know the complications with that, but nobody just wants to take me up on what I've got to say. Okay, so it's Monday. I want to say thank you for listening to me. If you're listening to this on your podcast app, or thanks for watching along on YouTube. I finished with saying again, this wasn't something I made so that people can feel sorry for me. I'm not trying to attract that attention. That's not the purpose of this. You know, I'm also not fishing for compliments or fishing for people to be like, you're doing a great job, come on. Even though when I read those on comments, when I read those on videos, it's extremely helpful. It's great feedback, but I didn't make this for that. I just made this because I wanted to speak with you about it. Because really, who else am I going to truly speak to about this? Because I know you believe it like I do about where this is going, and you have no doubt that it's going to get there like I do, and there's no fear that you have that this may not work. You know it will work like I do. It's just sad that I can't seem to find the correct formulas, so many others find the correct formulas in their industry and their field, and I work hard to do this, and I'm skilled at it. I'm confident in my ability. I just, with the subject that I talk about, I just can't seem to find the right answers at the moment. Thank you for listening to me.